My freedom-loving friends, we have breaking news. President Trump has just announced he is officially running for president in 2024. A re-election. 45th and 47th president? We will find out. So here's my reaction, and in it I want to share with you a few things. One, what I like about this announcement. Two, what I love about it. I'll also share what I think is the biggest myth surrounding Trump that most people don't know. I'll share a thought on how I think DeSantis factors in on this, as well as who I think Trump's toughest opponent to beat in 2024 presidential election will be, if that was a complete sentence. So let's get into it. Here's what I like about President Trump announcing he's a proven winner as president. Like, set aside Trump derangement syndrome right now. Apparently I have Biden derangement syndrome, as I can't even pronounce it. Trump is a proven racehorse when it comes to being president. And I'm talking about not propaganda or what people say, but what he actually did. He had a secure border. He had great foreign policy, threats around the world kind of seemed like they felt threatened of him. So we had a great foreign policy. America was energy independent. Now America is energy handicapped. We had a great economy. And President Trump has also said if and when he's reelected in 2024, he's going to reinstate all military members who were unjustly fired for not getting as compliant as the Biden administration wanted them to be and give them full back pay. I think that's amazing. Now, here's what I love about his announcement. I love the idea of him running for president because he is someone who the system is so threatened by. By this system, I mean the corrupt system. By the corrupt system, I basically mean the deep state. The powers that be that are behind the curtain, whoever is the puppet master of the most popular president in American history, Hunter's dad. The people that run him, they're incredibly threatened by President Trump. Now, I don't think the deep state and all their buddies have any of our best interests in mind. I think they have a sense of control and power for themselves in mind, as well as their own significance. They have a lot of childhood wounds, don't they? So seeing them do everything in their power, and they're going to continue to do everything in their power to prevent President Trump from running for office in 2024. The whole January 6th committee, the whole thing, it's just so frivolous. The FBI raiding Mar-a-Lago, the Russian scandal, all made up. So they're so threatened by them, and you can see their fear based on their desperate actions. And I don't think they're going to stop at what they've already done. They don't want President Trump to run because their agenda is very threatened by President Trump. So he's someone so far outside of the system, and that's a great thing because we all know the system as it is broken. And it's hard to fix a broken system within the framework of the broken system. President Trump is outside the framework of the broken system. So the fact that he is a threat to the most significant tyrants on the planet is something I absolutely love. Now, here's how I think DeSantis fits into this picture. My thoughts on the whole, Trump-DeSantis feud, and now we're, getting even not only the mainstream media, but also the alternative media that is more media that you and I would probably be looking to and valuing their input. There's this, Trump-DeSantis, and DeSantis might be better and all that stuff. Which, by the way, polling shows a lot of people are favoring DeSantis. In fact, let me pull something up for you. Yep, here it is. On my main YouTube channel, Awaken with JP, to be specific, I recently put up a poll. This is 4 days ago. Here it is. Question: who would you rather see run for president in 2024, Trump or DeSantis? With 57,000 people voting, 35% said Trump, 65% said DeSantis. You know what? I agree with both of them. If Trump is the nominee or if DeSantis was the nominee, I would vote for either of them. I would be more than happy to vote for either of them. My hope is that there's not division within the freedom-loving community, much of which is the Republican community. There's plenty of Republicans that are less than freedom-minded people. But the freedom-loving community in the Republican sphere, I so hope there isn't infighting. I mean, there already is, but I truly hope there's not Trump versus DeSantis in the primary. I think that creates division. Trump's already announced he's running. My hope is that DeSantis says, that's totally cool, bro. I'm going to give you my support. I'll probably set my sights on running for president in 2028. I think that would be best for the greater good of the freedom-loving community. And by the way, if President Trump said, you know what, I'm not going to run for president, I'm going to support DeSantis. Even if Trump didn't support DeSantis, but just said, I'm not running for president, and DeSantis does, I would gladly vote for DeSantis. So what I think is best is, Trump said, I'm running. Hopefully we can avoid a primary feud between Trump and DeSantis. I think it'd be great if everybody can get behind Trump. But the reason why I share this poll, and I've seen similar polls with similar numbers, a lot of Republicans are saying, no, I'd rather have DeSantis in office, which, by the way, nothing wrong with that. Cool. That's people voicing their perspective right now. And I will add to that, I think there's manipulation in those numbers. I think even right before the midterms, oftentimes polls were showing Trump was favored over DeSantis as the GOP run for president. But now that the midterms are over, that's kind of flipped. And I think there's propaganda manipulation around that. Again, let's just be clear. The system, the establishment, the last thing they want is for President Trump to run. The very last thing they want is for him to be in office. They're so threatened by him. So we already see mainstream propaganda framing Trump as a failure. Like, we were expecting a red wave, but all these candidates that Trump endorsed, they didn't get in. But look how good DeSantis did in Florida. Now, DeSantis did an amazing job in Florida. He, knocked it out of the park. Grand slam. Don't want to take anything away from that. I think what the media is doing is framing DeSantis as he did really well, Trump did really poorly here in midterm support and performance. And I think that's solely because they want to manipulate people to start turning on Trump within the Republican Party. But part of the falseness of the propaganda, I believe, is Trump actually did very well in the midterms. Most of his supportive candidates got elected. A few didn't. A few might have gotten elected, but they didn't win, if you know what I mean. We've also seen, I'm not sure how much you've had your thumb on the pulse of Mitch McConnell absolutely sabotaged some Republican senators by not funding them the way he should, like Blake Masters in Arizona, and instead putting the GOP money into an Alaskan race where it was a Republican versus a Republican. But Mitch McConnell put all this money behind a Republican that he knew would certainly support Mitch McConnell as the Republican senator leader. Barf. So I think that's part of the propaganda there. But nonetheless, I would be glad to vote for Trump or DeSantis. But Trump has announced he's winning. Hopefully DeSantis just supports him and we can have unification in the freedom-minded community. Trump is already a proven racehorse when it comes to succeeding as president. God help us. We need a great president in office. Our country has become not only damaged, but blatantly damaged under the lack of leadership of Hunter's dad. Now, here's what I think is the biggest myth about President Trump. People say he is polarizing. People will say he's the most polarizing president we've ever had. I think that's BS. I don't think President Trump is polarizing at all. I think the media is very polarized around Trump. And when we get their spin, so many people, Trump derangement syndrome, start to believe, President Trump is very polarizing. No. People who report on him give you the most polarized reports in human history. Does President Trump say outrageous things? Yes. Does he have an ego? Yes. Is he also the funniest president that there's ever been? Absolutely. That doesn't mean he's polarizing. He's authentic, he's real, he speaks like a normal person, not some canned politician. So he's got his faults. Certainly, I think his ego can be one of his faults. But I think it's part of the propaganda to say, to actually believe he's polarizing. It's like, no, he's unique. But the mainstream propaganda on him is very polarizing. Here's who I think is President Trump's toughest opponent by far in the 2024 presidential race. Who do you think it is? It's certainly not Biden. Certainly not Kamala. Gavin Newsom? Absolutely not. Even though I think that will be his opponent on the Democratic side. I think President Trump's toughest opponent to beat in 2024 is the election system. Stalin once said, who is an absolute garbage, communist, genocidal human being, Stalin said, it's not who votes that counts, but who counts the votes who counts. That's all I can say. You probably catch my drift on who I think Trump's strongest opponent, fiercest opposition in 2024 will be. How do we beat that opponent? I'm not totally sure. But I do know is that's the formidable foe that has to be defeated. Do I believe Trump will win the popular vote in 2024? Yes. Do I believe he will win the electoral vote in 2024? Yes. Do I think he'll win the election? I hope so, but I'm not sure because he's got a very tough opponent in 2024. Remain to be seen how he does against them. Them. I don't know. Is them the election system's pronoun? He, here, corrupt is the pronoun. With that said, I do know against this formidable opponent, the chances are much better if the freedom-loving community is united behind Trump in realizing Trump's not going to be the one that changed the world and the country. We are going to be. He would be the figurehead. He has an important role, but we can't outsource our power to any one person any longer. We've tried that. It doesn't work. We need an important person who has the good of the people in mind. But we have to remember we are the change makers. And also for the one figurehead, Trump in this case in 2024, for them to be able to get into office to do their job, they have a much better chance of beating their opponent, their fiercest opponent in 2024, if we in the freedom-loving community are united behind him rather than fighting against each other. I think a Trump-DeSantis fight and then all the supporters going at each other, which, by the way, most of those supporters also support the other guys, just like which one do you like more? So that creates division. I truly hope for a unified, freedom-minded, loving community to support President Trump. That's an important factor for President Trump, for us, to beat the strongest opponent in the 2024 presidential race. With that said, that's my hot take on President Trump announcing that he is running for president in 2024. Let me know what you think about the announcement in the comments below. I can't wait to see. In the meantime, if you've got needs for freedom-loving merch, shirts, sweatshirts, tumblers, hats, I've also got the all-new Uncensored Christmas collection fully available, stocked now in my shop. You can check that out at awakewithjp.com with a link in the description. By the way, it's super late at night. I'm super underslept for the past week, so that's why I'm fumbling my words. Just in denial that I have whatever Biden has. So that's my rationale. Anyway, you can check out all the Freedom merch, all the new stuff, all the classics at awakewithjp.com. But this has been the Hot Take. Look forward to seeing your comments in the comments below. And until next time, my beautiful freedom-loving friend, stay free.